Hey everybody, Patrick here with Purposeful Armament. Welcome back to PA Concepts. Today I wanted to give a quick update on our deployable shooting wall or our collapsible shooting wall. We released a video where I was basically showcasing a very early prototype of the idea. And while the reception to that video was small, I'm going to put out a video on the main channel too, kind of build traction, maybe do some shorts too, because people love shorts. But really there seemed to be at least a mild interest in doing this sort of thing. And generally speaking, I wanted to provide this tool to people because I personally see it as an issue. It's something I would buy myself. So I figured that there might be some people out there who are interested in it too. And it sounds like there are. So I wanted to give a quick update on how we're progressing with that and kind of what's going on. So the first prototype was, for lack of a better term, it was pretty flimsy. It was just not very well suited. It worked pretty well, but it was just really flimsy. Since then, I've been experimenting with some different poles, some different attachment designs, some different stake designs, and different actual wall, like the actual checkered or hexagonal wall. I've experimented with all that stuff, and I think that we finally landed on something, but there is something I want to tell you guys that has been kind of not weighing on me, but is going to potentially wrinkle this a little bit. When I built that prototype, I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be to find raw materials and how expensive it was going to be to purchase those raw materials, either from a warehouse building or a manufacturer building the pieces for us and then sending it to us, or us buying straight up raw materials and fabricating it ourselves. And we explored both options. We have landed on a hybrid. So the poles are going to be manufactured by someone else. The stakes are going to be manufactured by someone else. The actual wall part, we are going to do the sewing in-house, which is still pretty cool. But the problem is that it's all still very expensive. So I've been working very extensively for the past couple of weeks since that video came out on trying to drive down the price as much as we possibly can. Because I'm not going to lie, whenever we got the first pricing for how much everything was going to cost and I started pricing everything out, we're talking in just materials alone, like $125 in just materials alone. And I was like, there's no way that people are going to want to pay even $150 for this, let alone something that would make it worthwhile for us to do. Since then, I'm glad that we've gotten it down to a significantly lower number, but still not very low by any means. Personally, full transparency, I wanted to sell it for around $60. As it turns out, it's going to cost just shy of that to actually make it. So to buy the raw materials to make it. So I think I've devised a plan that can make this very advantageous for people and can make it worthwhile. So first of all, we're degrading our stake choice to these. These are small single stakes. You basically shove this in the ground, it comes up to right here, and then you can tighten this little knob right here around the pole. And it is pretty stable. It's not the most stable thing in the world, but it's pretty stable, and these are relatively cheap for us to get manufactured. That is really good because it brings down costs for you. However, the other spikes are awesome, and I think what we're going to do is we are going to basically sell everything as kind of a kit. So you will be able to mix and match and take pieces that you want and purchase them individually. So the poles, whether it's the upright poles or the horizontal crossbar, you can buy those separately. The stakes, whether you want these stakes or the upgraded stakes, I'll put a picture of those. They're very, very nice, very stable stakes. If you want those, it'll be a little bit extra cost, but at least you have the option. We also have been working very hard with trying to find poles, and this is one of our poles here that I think we're landing on. These still aren't very these still aren't very cheap, but actually we are going to be using a push button instead. The push button ones surprisingly are cheaper when we buy in a little bit higher quantity than just one. But these are nice, and these are actually very stable. The poles that we have decided on are an inch in diameter. These are 3/4 inch in diameter, so the actual poles will be a little bit thicker, a little bit more stable, but they're going to be about this same size, same color, and they will be the same for the crossbar that goes across the top too. So what I'm thinking that we're going to do is we'll just sell everything as a kit. So you can buy the cheapest version of everything, you know, just the poles, just the single wall, and the cheap spikes, and we can probably price that around $80 to $100. Still very high, I know, but I think that even if you went and tried to build this yourself with metal, it's still going to cost quite a bit. And there's going to be added time of actually doing the sewing, of which you need at least, at minimum, a relatively decent sewing machine to get through the heavy duty fabric that we're using. If you want to build one of these out of wood, it's probably going to be cheaper still, but again, there's that convenience price layered in with this. And I'm not trying to defend our pricing or anything. I don't think I need to do that, but I know that like it being so expensive, you know, $80 to $100 is a lot of money, but the one saving grace that I think is good here is when we release our other designs of just the wall, we're going to be selling just the wall. I'm talking like just the fabric and the mesh, not the poles, not the stakes. So you can buy the upfront cost, you know, for $100, and then later on down the line, instead of having to buy a whole new wall for another $100 to get, you know, one that has a port cut into it, or to get a longer section or what have you, you can just buy the actual mesh. I figured that that was like kind of a brain dead thing to do. That kind of made sense to me. So that's what we're going to do for that. I also really wanted to have tote bags that these came in, like a little duffel bag that these came in, so that they were easy to carry. And we're still going to do that. However, they're going to be an optional add-on. So I think that by pricing everything individually, it'll help save a little bit of money on the overall cost. And then you guys can pick and choose what you really actually want and what you can maybe hold off on. So yeah, the kit that comes in at like $80 to $100, that will be something that is just the poles, just the mesh, and just the stakes. It'll be boxed up, so you'll have at least a box that you can carry it around in, but it won't have that nice tote because it's just expensive, quite frankly. So anyways, that is what we're doing with the walls. I am working on finalizing some prototyping, and we will get all of our photos and our product listing and everything out on the website as soon as we possibly can. I do want to give the disclaimer in here that these are going to be made to order. So yeah, I hope that you guys are excited about it, are interested in it, and I think it'll be great. We'll have more updates as it comes along, but I just wanted to tell you guys that because what I showed in that video is definitely not anywhere close to what we have set up now. And by the way, those upgraded stakes are like phenomenal. These ones are good too. These will do the job, but again, trying to keep those costs down is really important to us. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one. If you're interested in this, continue to follow. Make sure you're subscribed. Also look at our newsletter. That'll be a great way to see how things are coming along with this project and with others. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. And remember, stay armed.